The price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I am your host, Afro Elite. Before we get started, please make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment and share this on your various social media platforms, because that really does help the reach and the growth of this channel. Thank you very much. I want to give a brief announcement that we're almost at 5,000 subscribers by this video. By the end of the month, we'll definitely pass 5,000. I'm almost 100% sure of it. I believe it full-heartedly that we definitely will, and that's because of you guys' support. So I want to sincerely thank you guys for all of the support you guys have been giving this channel and been giving me, as far as your watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, the super chats, the cash apps, everything that you guys have been doing. None of what you guys do is overlooked. None of what you guys do is underappreciated. I sincerely thank every single last one of you guys. Now, I want to give this announcement before I say anything. This is not an endorsement of Brandon Johnson. Okay, a lot of people think when there's two people that are battling politically, if you criticize one person, that means you're secretly endorsing, or you're just openly endorsing the other person. I want to say I have preached against that. Just because you criticize one person, just because you hold somebody accountable for their actions, does not mean in any way that you're endorsing the other person or the other party. I do not believe in that method, and I'm not doing that right now. I am exposing Paul Vallas, but that does not mean I endorse Brandon Johnson. I did a video on him not too long ago, and I might do another one later on closer to the election. So I'm letting you guys know that this is not that. This is not that at all. Right now, what's going on is there's going to be a runoff in April, because the Chicago mayoral election has come down really to two people. That's Paul Vallas and that's Brandon Johnson. As I stated before, this is not an endorsement for Brandon Johnson. So Paul Vallas is the pro-cop candidate, and a lot of people have asked and they want to know more about him because his history kind of seems wishy-washy. So in this particular video, I am going to give you the reasons why I do not support him, and I'm going to give you the reasons why I feel like he is not good when it comes to a black agenda. He is not good when it comes to black people in Chicago. I am not supporting him as a black man and the city, and I don't think that any black person should support him. Not that they should support Brandon Johnson. Let me make that abundantly clear. But Paul Vallas, I give a double thumbs down. If I had three hands, it would be a triple thumbs down, and this is why. I'm going to give you guys a video. I'm going to show you guys a video real quick, because I know a lot of people hear like, you say this, but it's taken out of context. I'm going to play for you guys a video of an interview where I will break down the words that come out of his mouth directly. So this isn't somebody overlooking something he said. This isn't somebody taking anything out of context. This isn't somebody lying on him. These are the words that came out of his mouth that I'm going to break down for you guys right now. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research.
The Chicago Police Union has also thrown its support behind mayoral candidate Paul Vallas.
CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov is in the newsroom. Dana, you interviewed Vallas and talked about his endorsement from the FOP.
Yeah, Jim and Eric, I asked him about that, and considering its controversial president, if it could help or hinder his mayoral bid, but we talked about other issues as well.
You have to stop the exodus of officers.
That's step one for former Chicago Public Schools Chief Paul Vallas, if elected mayor. But how?
If I return the police to normal work schedules, if I return to a strategy of community-based policing where police are covering every beat, they're not being moved all over the city, and if I stop punishing the police for being proactive and responsive.
That stopgap, Vallas says, would allow CP.
Now, I want to break that down. Okay, so when he says, I want to stop punishing the police for being proactive and responsive, I want you guys to really understand that what the word proactive means, that means racial profiling. That's a dog whistle for racial profiling. When they say, oh, you're just being proactive, that is racial profiling and stop and frisk. That's what they cover it up, because they can't say, oh, yeah, I think you should do stop and frisk. They can't say that because the stop and frisk has been tarnished already. So what they're going to say is, oh, you're going to be proactive. What that means is if you see a black person driving, a group of black people driving in a car, pull them over proactively and search the car proactively if you suspect something, and the suspicion is up to the discretion of the officers. Okay, they've already have exposed that the Chicago Police Department has gotten in trouble, millions of dollars worth of lawsuits for stop and frisk and for racial discrimination and for racial profiling. Okay, so he is trying to say what he wants to do is he wants to remove any restrictions that the police have to stop them from stop and frisk. That's what he's saying. Now, he's not saying, yeah, I want to implement stop and frisk, but what he's saying is I want to remove the punishment away from proactive, remove the punishment away being proactive, which means targeting black people. That's the only thing that being a proactive police officer means, that the average one will be able to racially profile, stop and frisk black people, and there is no consequences and there is no punishment. That's what that means. Now let's continue, because he says something else.
To recruit new officers and also lure back those who used to work for the force, including retirees.
You can incentivize them by simply extending their retiree health care.
Can the city afford to extend their health benefits, or would that be part of the already existing police budget?
Well, look, every budget can be reprioritized.
Vallas would also replace CPD Superintendent David Brown and his entire leadership team while reviewing certain police policies, like foot chases.
What I would do is I would allow them to chase, and I would establish sensible rules.
So how do you balance?
Now, I'm going to stop it right there, because she just completely, I don't like the way this is edited. I'm going to remove this. Okay, I do not like the way that is edited. Okay, it's given small little talking points of what the interviewer is saying, like what the audit, like I think the term is audit or whatever, is saying, all whatever the announcer is saying, and then a bit of pieces of what he's saying. So what they're doing is the announcer is saying certain things and it's trying to give you context to what he is saying, but they're not really letting him speak for himself. So it's in a way they're trying to save face. Now, the last thing that they were saying is, oh, foot chases, stop and frisk. Oh, the foot chases, and they show a video of a police officer chasing somebody on foot. And then he says, I'm going to allow chases. So the connection that they're trying to get you guys to think is he's talking about foot chases. He never said that he's talking about foot chases. He said chases. And the chases that he really means is vehicle chases. Now, the reason that Chicago has banned vehicle chases under most circumstances is because those are very dangerous to people around it, not just to the person that they're chasing, also to the officers that are chasing them and anybody around. There's been multiple cases of police officers getting into fatal car chases with somebody, and an innocent pedestrian winds up being killed because of the car chase, because the police are swerving and going crazy miles an hour trying to catch somebody, especially if it's a non-violent offense. So that's why the rule is in place that the police cannot have a vehicle pursuit of somebody if it's a non-violent offense. So if they try to pull somebody over and they take off, then that's just it. You can't chase, because that creates a very dangerous environment for everybody around. That is why they have that rule. Now, what Paul Vallas is saying that is he wants to really take that restriction off. But what this interview is doing is trying to be very, very slick. What this interview is doing is the interview is giving you context that is going to give you an implication that he's not really meaning. They're saying foot chases. He's not saying foot chases. So that way, when he takes away the vehicle chases, he can say, well, you know, I didn't technically say only foot. I didn't even say foot chases. So that way he can do something, and he doesn't have to be tied to what he said, because he didn't say that. It's just the way the interview is chopped up by the editing and then by the voice, the person speaking, the lady speaking is giving the implication. Okay, so he's going to pretty much take all of the rules. You guys get to legally stop and frisk black people, and you get to chase them down in your vehicle and create a very dangerous environment where anybody can be killed. You guys get to do whatever you guys want to do. Not that you guys were not doing that anyway, and you have the news, whatever, the interview trying to chop it up and make it seem in a different way. Okay, now I'm also going to explain another thing. I'm going to read this article right here. So there's a lot of his backstory that you guys really need to know before this election comes out. Okay, so check this out. It says, now this happened recently, y'all. This was literally last month. Okay, it says Paul Vallas has received campaign contributions from ex-officer in Laquan McDonald scandal. So he's getting money straight up from the bad guys. So let me tell you guys, if he was the type of person who would hold the police accountable, he would not be receiving these type of donations and from these people at all. Okay, follow the money, y'all. Let's read into it. It says Paul Vallas's campaign for mayor of Chicago in this month's election received a financial boost from a retired city police officer who was named in a costly civil litigation stemming from the fatal shooting of Laquan McDonald. The Vallas for Mayor political fund reported getting a contribution of $5,000 from former cop Richard E. Hagen on June 30th. Okay, according to the campaign finance disclosure reports, Hagen has also publicly supported Vallas on Twitter. Now we're just hearing about this, and he got his contribution all the way in June. He got it in June 30th. That's okay. June, July, pretty much in the summertime. So you didn't hear about this for the whole year. And I want you guys to pay attention to that because we're going to get into that a little bit later. Now, it says, court records showed Hagen was named in the 2 settlement agreements prompted by the infamous shooting of the 17-year-old McDonald in 2014. The 2 legal cases cost the city a total of more than $5 million. The family should have got more money than that, in my opinion, but you know, that's not really what we're talking about. But I just had to say that. It continues to say, a campaign spokesman for Vallas, who recently said his campaign vets contributors, declined to comment on the contribution from Hagen on Thursday. Hagen did not reply to the message. The support from Hagen could bolster complaints from the rivals in the nonpartisan mayoral race and others who suggest Vallas, a former city schools chief, has allied himself too closely with the police. Vallas last month was endorsed by the Federal Order of Police Chicago Lunge 7, the union for the city's roughly 10,000 rank and file cops. So this is the police. Now this is before the election. So to give you guys some context, this was before the election, so that's why the language is this election coming up. So this is before the election. Now the election was on the 28th of February. This was dated on the 23rd. One mayoral rival, Democratic U.S. Representative Jesus Chuy Garcia, slammed Vallas for accepting the FOP's endorsement, saying he is cozying up to a far-right union that has endorsed Republicans for governor and president. And Garcia said Vallas's policies on crime would, quote, ensure no police accountability. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who is seeking re-election. Now, that's why I gave you guys that information to let you guys know that this was before the election. So I've already done a broadcast stating that Lori Lightfoot, and I ain't even gonna call her mayor, has lost. Okay, so that's why it's kind of worded that way, because I know you guys are like, huh? Like what? So you guys know. Now, it says Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who is seeking re-election, said the endorsement from the FOP, which backed former President Donald Trump and Darren Bailey, is losing FOP nominee for governor in November, shows Vallas is not for the lifelong Democrat he said he was. Okay. Now, over here on this channel, we don't really do the Democrat, Republican. We don't really do that. We all know that they're both the two different sides on the very same coin. Okay. So I'm not playing that game, but that's what she said. Anyway, Vallas has been a consultant for the police union in their contract talks with the Lightfoot administration in 2020. Police abuse and mistreatment of Chicagoans, in particular Black residents, has long been a serious problem that mayors have faced. Lightfoot herself campaigned in 2019 on a police reform platform, and we see how that went. After one of the most infamous chases in Chicago police history, the murder of a teenager, Laquan McDonald. Now, I play for you guys the video that he's saying that we need to do proactive policing, which is, racially profiling, and you can chase. So under Paul Vallas's administration, he's going to enact the same type of policies that let Laquan McDonald get murdered by Jason Van Dyke. So I would not be surprised. I hate to say that, but I would not be surprised if another incident happens similarly and we have to go through the same things to get some type of justice for whoever these race soldiers take down. Now, I'm going to stop that there because it goes into the Jason Van Dyke situation. I just wanted to read a little bit into it to let you know what type of person is donating to Paul Vallas, okay? Now, I don't want to go too far into that because I want that to be its own separate video. But these are the type of people who endorse him. So you have to answer why. You have to ask why. Now, remember what I said. Remember the dates. They gave that money to him in 2022. Okay, it's 2023 now. The election's in 2023. They gave that to him on June 30th, 2022. And now the articles are coming out on February, the month of the election, which was last month to right now. But the month of the election, it was found out that he actually received a $5,000 donation. Now, what he tried to say is his team tried to say the donation, he didn't know where it came from, and he returned the money because of the scrutiny of the fact that these people are a part of police misconduct, the murder of a Black kid, and a large-scale police cover-up, and they're donating to you. So it looks like you're getting money from the bad guy, so he gave it back, saying that he didn't know where it came from. But he pocketed that money all up until February, from June 30th all the way up until February. Then when people found out, like, hey, you getting large donations from these people from hanging, so a lot of people started criticizing him and scrutinizing him about that. Then he gave the money back. Okay, so he a lot of shady anti-Black racist people, these race soldiers, they're donating to his campaign because he's thinking to himself, man, if Paul Vallas was the mayor, and with his take the cuffs off the police thing, we would be able to get away with that. We would definitely be able to get away with what we did with Laquan McDonald. So we can do a Laquan McDonald 2.0 because that's all the police were pretty much in on it. Okay, all of them were in on it. They all knew about the dash cam. They all knew about what happened. They were all in on it. Okay, they all lied. They all should be punished. And that's why they all support him, because they know they would be able to get away with the stop and frisk, the racial profiling, the chasing, all of that stuff. He's just going to let the police go buck wild. That's why they're donating to him. Speaking of police going buck wild, let's talk about Paul Vallas' son, who is also a police, and he also recently killed a Black man. So let's talk about that. Now, this was dated February 8th. Now, this was last month, before the big election. This was 20 days before the big election. Now, he's still going in for the runoff, so you guys know. I just want to give you guys that. I'm going to read the article. I'm not going to show the video, even though the video doesn't actually show the actual shooting take place. But, just for copyright reasons, to protect the interests of the channel, we're not going to show that. Now, it says, Chicago mayoral candidate Paul Vallas issued a statement Wednesday night after a report released his son was one of the 3 officers who fatally shot a man in Texas in 2022. Quote, This matter was the subject of a complete investigation. Valles' statement read, Gus Valles was found not to have engaged in any violations of policy or procedure and has since returned to full duty. Of course, because the policy and procedure is you can kill a black person. So, of course, you didn't violate any rules, especially in Texas. But okay, let's go. The report published by the Tribune, I think that's, I don't know if it's supposed to have two eyes. Tribune, I don't know if it's supposed to have two eyes or if that's I think it is. I don't know. Anyway, Wednesday investigates Gus Valles as one of the three officers who fatally shot Kevin Donnell Johnson Jr., who at the time of the incident was wanted for violating his parole and a federal felony weapons charge. Further down in the body of the article, a video narrative by San Antonio Police Department Deputy Chief Chris Benevines, which was released later last year, could be found explaining the incident. The video begins with officers approaching Johnson, who is on a bike. Before the officers got out the car, identified themselves as police, Johnson ran on foot. The officers chased him down and embarked into a creek. Okay. As Johnson is crossing the creek, he stumbles and the officers see a gun in his right hand. The officers can be heard yelling, "Gun, gun, gun," moments before all three officers open fire on Johnson, shooting him 9 times. Okay. Gus Valles and the two officers were placed on administrative duty during the investigation. Now, the thing is that I saw the video all the way up until the actual gunshots went off. It's hard to kind of tell. The item that was in his hand is hard to tell, especially from that distance or whatnot. Plus, he was still running away. He crossed the creek to run away. And all of a sudden, and then this is what the video is saying. So he crossed the creek, didn't have a gun. When he leaves the creek and he's on the other side of the creek, he has a gun. Or what looks to be like a gun. So they shoot him in the back 9 times. Okay? They just opened fire on him. Now he went down, I'm assuming. I didn't see the video, but I'm assuming it didn't take 9 times for him to go down. So that means he was shot in the back as he was down running from them. Okay? And Paul Vallas defended him. So it seems as if, and I don't like to blame other people for other people's mistakes. I don't like to blame the father for the son's thing, but it seems like the apple doesn't fall that far from the tree. Now, does it? Doesn't seem that way. Paul Vallas is not I really don't tell people what to do or what not to do. I'm not going to tell you not to vote for him. I'm going to tell you I wouldn't do that. Okay? I'm going to give you guys that reason because Chicago police have been getting away with literally murder. Okay? They've been getting away with a bunch of stuff that they have not been held accountable for. Did you guys know I made several videos about Chicago and Chicago police? Do you know Chicago police used to torture black people? And I'm saying used to very loosely, as if they still don't do that. Do you know Chicago literally has like specific hidden black sites where they take people and you don't know where they're from? I mean, you don't know where they're going, and they use those sites to like house them in warehouses and literally torture them. Do you guys know? And that wasn't long ago. That was not long ago. The Chicago police, we were just talking about Laquan McDonald, and we can talk about other situations and other incidents. Not too long ago, the Chicago police officers killed a 9-year-old boy and then moved his body and hid the evidence. And this is what, like last year or the year before last, the Chicago Police Department has been getting away with far too much stuff. And with Paul Vallas in office, he's going to let them get away with everything without even the fear of facing any consequences. This is why I am saying that black people, if you care about police beating black people up and killing black people, you should not vote for him. That's why I'm saying that, okay? Paul Vallas, he backs up race soldiers. You can talk about all his other some of the other stuff he did is good. No, not really, Okay. First off, I'm saying, remember what we say over here. We say over here, no tangibles, no vote. If you do not have a black agenda that you are complying with if you do not comply with our black agenda, we're not going to vote for you, period. Okay, not at all. No tangibles, no vote. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing. So you're telling me he does not have a black agenda, which I know for a fact he doesn't. He does not have a black agenda, and he's going to allow more race soldiers to come over here and just have their way with black society. I'm not going to co-sign that. I'm not going to co-sign that. I'm actually going to reject that. I'm going to reject that, and I need everybody to know this is the type of person Paul Vallas is. This is the type of agenda Paul Vallas has, and this is the type of Chicago we can expect to see with him in office. Now, brothers and sisters, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please also make sure you follow me on my various social media pages, which is at AfroElite on Instagram and at AfroElite on Twitter. Make sure that you guys subscribe. We're growing this channel very, very fast. We're going to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of this month. So please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you guys share the video, especially to somebody who's in Chicago or who does not know who Paul Vallas is or who is curious. So I want to thank you guys for all of what you guys do, and thank you guys for your support. And with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, be one salute to every single last one of you guys, and you all have a good one.